All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Look, if you're a founder, a CEO, or an executive operating in what we call founder mode, this is specifically designed for you. We're going to cut right through all the relentless AI hype out there and talk about how to build a genuine, long-term competitive moat. We're talking about thinking in decades here, not just quarters.
So, right off the bat, we've got to face a pretty stark reality. Most executives today, they truly believe they're implementing artificial intelligence. But honestly, they aren't. What they're actually doing is just experimenting with commodity AI tools, paying for ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or Copilot just to answer some questions or maybe draft a few emails. That is absolutely not the same thing as building a true AI-native company.
Okay, part one, the 5-second AI illusion. To really grasp this massive gap between just using tools and actually building an AI-native company, let's use a mental model. Imagine I hand you a pile of blocks and say, hey, build me the tallest tower possible, but I only give you 5 seconds. What do? Well, you frantically stack those blocks straight up as fast as humanly possible, right? Your only goal is immediate height, but there's zero foundation. Literally one tiny breeze, one disturbance, and the whole thing comes crashing down. And honestly, this is exactly how most organizations are treating AI today, rapidly deploying GPTs or getting completely obsessed with prompt engineering. But what if I gave you 5 years to build the tall structure? Everything changes. You don't start by stacking blocks. You grab a shovel and you start digging. You spend your time building a massive, invisible foundation because changing your time horizon completely changes your architecture. So the takeaway here is super crucial. The absolute fastest way to build a 1-story building is simply not the fastest way to build a 100-story skyscraper. Just like the fastest way to build a small business isn't how you build a global powerhouse. If you are thinking long-term, it has to fundamentally alter literally every single AI decision you are making today. Which brings us to part 2. Build factories, not prototypes. Let's look at how this plays out in the physical world. Take Elon Musk's core business philosophy. Musk points out all the time that building a prototype is, well, relatively easy. It's fun and it just proves what's possible. But building the factory, the machine that actually builds the machine, that is exponentially harder. But the factory is what gives you repeatability. Think about Tesla. They could have easily just bought batteries off the shelf from suppliers, but they built their own. They could have relied on random third-party chargers, but they spent years building their own proprietary charging infrastructure. In the short term, those decisions probably looked incredibly slow and inefficient, but years later, boom, they became an untouchable strategic moat. In the AI space, throwing together a quick prototype is a breeze. Building the factory is where your real competitive advantage actually lives. So here is the question you really need to ask yourself today. Are you sitting there asking your team, what AI model should we use? Because if you are, you're just asking what blocks to stack. It's the wrong question. As leaders, we need to be asking, what foundation are we building right now that literally every future AI model is going to be able to leverage? Look at the stark contrast in lifespan here. On the left, we've got the AI models, your GPT-6, GPT-7, Gemini, Claude. They're amazing, sure, but they will constantly improve, which means they are completely temporary. They're commodities. Anyone can buy them. But on the right, that's your proprietary organizational knowledge. Every single customer objection you've ever handled, every negotiation, every operational event, that is permanent. Remember this, models are temporary, your organizational knowledge is your permanent moat.
Let's move on to part 3, the hidden data foundation.
So, where does all this permanent knowledge actually live? Look, AI performs absolutely terribly on fragmented files. It's like playing a massive game of telephone with your own company's data. If your information is scattered across a CRM, an ERP system, hidden in WhatsApp chats, buried in PDFs, or just sitting in isolated audio recordings, the AI simply cannot connect the dots. But if you organize that exact same information into connected entities within a relational database, suddenly you have a clear path. A customer links to a conversation, which connects to a salesperson, which ties directly to a specific outcome. Once you build those relationships, the AI isn't just mindlessly responding to a prompt anymore, it is actively reasoning across your entire enterprise. And this perfectly highlights the difference in executive mindsets right now. Are you just using AI, or are you building AI? Using AI is all about answering today's question. And yeah, sure, a little automation saves you some time today. But building AI, that focuses on creating tomorrow's knowledge. It means ensuring that every single interaction you capture today makes tomorrow's systems exponentially smarter. That is how intelligence actually compounds. Let's check out part 4, the Amazon knowledge moat. To see this compounding intelligence out in the wild, let's look at one of the most valuable companies on the planet, Amazon didn't win just because they throw up a website to sell books. No way. They won because of a relentless, compounding data loop. Step 1, a customer searches. Step 2, they click and buy. Step 3, they leave a review, or maybe make a return. And step 4, the real magic. Every single tiny piece of that behavior is captured and stored as structured data. They did this for literally decades before machine learning was even mature. So when AI was finally ready for prime time, Amazon's AI was immediately world-class, simply because that massive, structured foundation was already sitting there waiting for it.
All right, part 5, Business Conversation Intelligence, or BCI.
So how do you actually apply this Amazon-level knowledge capture to your own company right now? You do it through Business Conversation Intelligence. You have got to stop treating your sales calls and customer support issues like temporary events that just vanish into thin air. Instead, it looks like this. Step 1, the customer conversation happens. Step 2, BCI jumps in, runs speech to text, and uses AI to classify the data. Step 3, it maps all of that directly into your relational database. And step 4, that newly structured knowledge drives real executive decisions and instantly improves all your future conversations. Every single spoken word transforms into a permanent asset. Your organization is literally getting smarter every single month.
And over the next decade or so, putting this foundation in place is going to transform your business through 4 distinct levels. At level 1, your AI is basically just answering basic questions. By level 2, it's stepping up and automating tasks. By level 3, things get really exciting. The AI is actively learning from your own structured organizational data. And finally, level 4, you hit a true AI operating system. This is the holy grail, where every single department in your company is continuously contributing to one massive shared organizational memory.
Which brings us to part 6, the CEO AI mandate. All right, let's wrap this up with the ultimate takeaway for leaders operating in founder mode today. Let's look at your strategic mandate. Your priority for the next 20 years is absolutely not about chasing the flashiest new tools. First, you need to invest heavily in your data architecture rather than just buying off-the-shelf AI tools. Second, you've got to optimize your knowledge capture over obsessing about prompt engineering. And third, relentlessly focus on building scalable factories instead of temporary prototypes. I want to leave you with this one defining thought. The companies that are going to win with AI, they won't have the best prompts. They are going to have the strongest foundation of proprietary business knowledge. It is time to stop trying to win a prompt engineering race that literally changes every 5 seconds. Grab a shovel and start digging. So the question you really have to ask yourself right now is this. Are you frantically stacking blocks for a quick win, or are you building the proprietary memory moat that is going to make your business completely untouchable for the next 50 years?